सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धिर्द्रव्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्त वेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चितामतिः।
In the last class, we saw that the Sakshi or the Chaitanyam is called Sakshi, means the illuminator, with reference to from the standpoint of the Antakaranam and its Dharmaha, which are illumined. Swarupataha, it is not the illuminator. And we saw the example also, one more example, that is, just as the sun is Prakasha Swarupa, but it is also called illuminator based on or from the standpoint of the planets which are illumined. But by itself it is not illuminator. By itself it is only of the nature of light. And with regard to this Sakshi, that Tippanikara has written some, has given an example which we saw. So it is said, just as in the paper which is white by itself, there is the letters are as though appearing or appearing as it were. How? By the Masi Rekha, by the ink line. In reality, the difference between those letters and the those letters and the paper is only verbal. Why is it so? For that, two hetus are given. The first is, since there is non-appearance of the letters separate from the paper without the idea of the adjunct in the form of the ink. So this first hetu says that if we do not see or if we don't have the view of the ink as the upadhi, then the letters are not seen separate from the paper. When the ink is seen as a upadhi, then on that paper the letters are seen. Therefore, between the letters and the paper, there is only verbal difference. And the second reason is that since there is reminder only in the form of pure
Remainder.
Yes.
I said reminder, you said.
Yes. Yes. So since there is remainder only in the form of pure paper, means when the ink is removed, then only pure paper remains. Means when the upadhi is removed, then the adhishthanam alone is remaining. So thus there is no two entities, that is letter and paper, but only a verbal difference is there. Letters are on the paper itself.
Means letters are the paper itself, not
yes.
on the
Yes.
paper itself.
Similarly, this Sakshi, and by Vyatireka it is shown that similarly, without the idea of the difference which is born of the adjunct, which is in the form of Antakaranam, even the name Sakshi for the Chaitanyam would not be established. Only the pure Chaitanyam remains. Means when the Chaitanyam is seen from the standpoint of the Upadhi in the form of Antakaranam, then it is called Sakshi, because in the presence of Chaitanyam, the Antakaranam and its dharma are illumined. And when this particular idea is negated cognitively, then pure Chaitanyam, pure consciousness remains. And thus, we saw the second type of Akshepa and their Samadhana. The first was Adhikari Vishayaka Akshepaha Tat Samadhanani, and the second is Vishaya Vishayaka Akshepaha Tat Samadhanani. And now the third topic of this second chapter is started. The title is Prayojana Vishayaka Akshepaha. The objections with regard to the Prayojanam, the benefit or the purpose of this particular text. And what is that? Jnanena eva mokshaha. Means first this text is directly giving jnanam, and that jnanam leads to moksha. Thus this text indirectly is leading to moksha. And in this particular set of akshepa, there are two parts. The first part is that jnanena mokshaha iti na. It is not that by jnanam there will be moksha. And the second type of akshepa is karmana mokshaha. The freedom is by karma alone. So in this, the first set we are seeing na jnanena bandha nivrittihi iti akshepaha. The objection in the manner that the removal of bondage is not by knowledge. And in that, in the 66th avarta, first it is described what is bandhaha, and one more point is bandhaha satya iti akshepaha. The objection in the form of that bondage is real. So what is said? Ahankaradi dehanta natma bhuta drishya vastu jatam sarvam api bandhaha iti uchyate. So first the definition of bondage is given, and it says everything is bondage. This everything is bondage. And what is this everything? Everything which is the multitude of objectifiable things in the form of non-self, starting from the ahankara and up to the body. And why starting from ahankara and up to the body? Because ahankara in this case of in the set of objectifiable things, ahankara is the subtlest and body is the grossest. So from subtlest to grossest, whatever is there is bondage.
Whatever anatma
is, yes. And why those anatma themselves are called bondage? Because when this anatma are there, then sukha, dukha, etc. is there, and that is bondage. Thus, they being the cause of bondage, they themselves are called bondage. Saha bandhaha yadi adhyastah syat tarhi jnanena nivartyeta. That bondage, if it is superimposed, then it would be removed by knowledge. Anadhyastah chet na eva jnanena nivartyeta. And if it is not superimposed, then it would definitely not be removed by knowledge. And why is this so? Jnanasya hi eshaha svabhavaha. Because this is the nature of jnana. And what is that? Yat, that is स्वविषयीभूतवस्तुनिष्ठज्ञान तत्कार्याध्यासनिवर्तकत्वम् इति एषः स्वभावः. So the nature of jnanam is being the remover of the ajnanam, the ignorance, and its effect in the form of adhyasa, superimposition, which is obtaining in that thing, which is that thing or entity, which is in the form of one's own object. And one's own means the object of jnanam. So what does it mean? That jnanam will remove the ajnanam and adhyasa with regard to that entity only where the jnanam or with regard to which the jnanam is. For example, the rajju jnanam will remove the adhyasa of sarpa etc. which is there in the rajju. It cannot remove the rajata dhyasa which is there in the shell. Thus, the object of ajnanam and the object of jnanam has to be same for jnanam to remove ajnanam and its effect in the form of adhyasa. And the Granthakara himself gives an example. Yatha raju sakshatkarah सविषयीभूत रज्वद्यस्तसर्पादीन् रज्वज्ञानं च निवर्तयति. Just as the clear knowledge of the rope removes the ajnanam of the rajju, and also the snake etc. which are superimposed on that rajju, and that rajju is in the form of the object of the knowledge. So thus the jnanam will remove the ajnanam and adhyasa which is there on that object, which is there on that entity, which is the object of jnanam. And one point which I missed in between, after the tippani, in this tippani, we saw that this particular idea which is given by the tippanikara is there even in Kaivalya Upanishad. त्रिषु धामसु यद्भोग्यं भोक्ता भोगश्च यद्भवेत् तेभ्यो विलक्षणः साक्षिः चिन्मात्रोऽहं सदाशिवः. So there the important part is sakshi chinmatraha, means the sakshi in reality is pure consciousness alone. And also this idea is given even in Advaita Makaranda. So there it is said chaitya चैत्योपराग रूपा में साक्षी तापी न तात्विकी उपलक्षण में वेयम निस्सरंगत Yes. So there the idea conveyed is, so there may is mama. There in the first.
Mama sakshita.
So even my sakshita means the status of being a witness is not tatviki, is not absolute. And this sakshita is with regard to what? The sakshita which is having the connection or which is
characterized
by the connection with the chaitya, with the thing to be illumined.
Chaitya means thing to be illumined.
Yes. So the sakshita which is characterized by the connection with the thing to be illumined, that sakshita is not absolute, means is not my real nature. It is an upalakshanam alone. It is an indicator alone. Of what? Indicator of the consciousness which is like waveless ocean. So by that also it is shown that the sakshi status of the consciousness which is me is not Real means it is not my nature.
Absolute is
Yes.
not absolute.
So it is not absolute. It is just from the standpoint of the connection with the thing which is to be illumined. And that in this case is the antakaranam, and through that everything else.
Yes. Of course, connection is not real, but connection is accepted. So Adhyasika Sambandha is accepted. Then only this Sakshita is attributed.
Yes.
Alright. Having completed the topic of Vishaya, the subject matter of this text, by answering various objections. Now, Prayojana Vishayaka Vishesh Akshepa, special objections regarding the text, regarding the purpose of the text. And Prayojanam has been said to be Jnanena Moksha. And regarding this Prayojanam Jnanena Moksha, the freedom through knowledge, which is the purpose of this text, that is objected by Purvapakshi. Various mainly two objections are given. First, he says, by knowledge, the removal of bondage is not possible. Moksha is equal to removal of bondage. The removal of bondage by knowledge is not possible. Part 1. Second is, moksha is possible by karma. So, why should we go for this text when we can get moksha by karma? Why should we go for jnanena moksha? And karma is a reliable, well-proven means for the attainment. Like no time-tested. Karma is a time-tested means for the attainment of anything. We have a saying that no pain, no gain. Pain implies what? Efforts. So, without doing, you cannot attain anything. Therefore, karmana mokshaha natu dhanena. So, this is going to be the objection. Now, this particular thing is explained. Na dhanena bandha nivritti is the main objection. Under that, these various topics are discussed, which are meant for proving this na dhanena moksha, bandha nivritti. The first one is what? Why jnanena bandha nivritti na bhavati? For that he says, bandhaha satyaha. Bondage is real. In this manner, objection is raised. And what is the connection with the topic? Connection is bandhaha satyaha. Bondage is real. And real cannot be removed by knowledge. Only unreal can be removed by knowledge. Like Rajju Sarpa can be removed by Rajju Jnanam. Real Sarpa cannot be removed by Rajju Jnanam. Real thing can be removed by karma only. If at all it is to be removed by karma or sometimes waiting. So bandhaha satyaha. Bondage is real. Real cannot be removed by jnanam. Therefore, jnanena na bandha nivrittihi. That is how the connection is there with the objection. And na jnanena bandha nivrittihi. And therefore, jnanena mokshaha iti prayojanasya asiddhi. That is how final connection. Not, that is the main connection. The final connection is that prayojana bhavat anubandha bhavaha. Anubandha bhavat grantharambha siddhi. That is for the final. Further it goes up. Alright. So now bandha satyaha, regarding that we have seen that ahankara videhanta anatma is bandha. And that bandha, if it is adhyasta, superimposed, then it would have been removed by jnanam. But if it is not superimposed, it cannot be removed by jnanam. Because jnanasya eshaha svabhavaha. That is the nature, this is the nature of jnanam. What? Swa vishayi bhuta vastu nishtha ajnana tatkarya adhyasa nivartakatvam. Nivartakatvam is being the remover of ignorance, which is obtaining in a thing, in the object, which is Vishayi Bhuta, which is the object or the content of itself. Itself refers to knowledge. So, nature of knowledge is to be a remover, Nivartakatvam, being remover of Ajnana and Ajnana Karya Adhyasa. That is the nature of Jnana. But it will remove what type of Ajnanam and Adhyasa? Ajnanam, which is obtaining in that thing which is objectified by knowledge, or which is the object of knowledge. So, Jnanam will remove the Ajnanam regarding its object. Is it clear? Jnanam will remove the ignorance regarding its object. Jnanasya yaha vishayah tad vishayaka ajnanam tad jnanam nivartayati. So knowledge will remove the ignorance regarding its object. Swa vishayaka ajnanam nivartayati. That is said here, Swa Vishayi Bhuta Vastu Nishtha Ajnana. So we have to connect Ajnana Nivartakatvam. Jnanam is the remover of Ajnanam, obtaining in the thing which is the object of Jnana. Is it clear?
Yes.
And also Tat Karya, and also its effect. Tat refers to Ajnana. And also its effect, which is adhyasa, which is superimposition. So jnanam removes ajnanam of its object, and also the adhyasa, which is the product of that ignorance. Is it clear?
Yes.
The nishtha is mainly connected with ajnana. Even though the adhyasa will be there in the vastu only. But directly it is connected with the ajnana tat karya. Is it clear, this idea? And here one technical thing to be noted is that vastu means object, nishtha ajnana. In the example, yatha rajju sakshatkaraha, direct knowledge of the robe, swa vishayi bhuta rajva adhyastha sarpadin rajva ajnanam cha nivartayati. Removes the direct knowledge of the robe, removes what? Sarpadin, these snake, etc., which are superimposed upon the rope, And what type of rope? Which is in the form of its object. Its object means the object of knowledge. Rajju Sakshatkara removes the snake, etc., which are superimposed upon the rope, which is the object of that knowledge. And also, Rajva Jnanam cha nivartayati, and it removes the ignorance of the rope. So, Rajju Jnanam, the rope knowledge, removes two things. One is Rajju Agdanam, ignorance of the rope, and also the product of ignorance of the rope. And what is the product of ignorance? Sarpadin, Sarpa, etc., which are superimposed upon the rope. So here this is highlighted that Rajju, the Sarpadi, which are superimposed upon the rope. Here one thing to be noted is when we say Vastu Nishtha Agdanam. So one way we can say Vastu Nishtha Agdanam regarding that thing. Like Agdanam regarding the rope will be Vastu Nishtha. So Nishtha is, to make it simple, we say regarding the Vastu. Or Agdanam obtaining in that object. So Rajju Jnanam removes the ignorance obtaining in the rope. One meaning is, one way of seeing is rope knowledge removes the ignorance regarding the rope. That is clear? So Vastu Nishtha means the regarding, to make it simple. So rope knowledge removes the ignorance obtaining in means regarding the rope. Rope knowledge removes the ignorance regarding rope. Or the Nishtha has got the meaning obtaining in. Adhikaranata is there. So ignorance which is located, Nishtha means located in the rope. The rope knowledge removes the ignorance obtaining in, located in the rope. There is a technical problem. What is the technical problem? What can be a technical problem?
Ajnanam is in the buddhi.
Ajnanam always for Chetana.
Yes.
Ajnanam cannot be in Jada.
Yes.
So, Rajju Nishtha Ajnanam, how can there be? Therefore, even though we say Rajju Nishtha Ajnanam, what we understand is Rajju Avachinna Chaitanya Nishtha Ajnanam. इतना थोड़ा ऐड कर देते हैं to make it little spicy. So, Rajju Avachinna Chaitanya Nishtha Ajnanam. Ignorance obtaining in the consciousness which is conditioned by the rope. Ignorance in the rope is equal to ignorance in the consciousness conditioned by the rope.
Which is the thought of it.
It's a little different thing. Consciousness, we say. Ignorance is always in consciousness. Yes. Thought, etc. is a very, in the thought, ignorance cannot be there. Thought does not have ignorance. Maximum we can say in the mind there is ignorance.
In the mind.
Thought doesn't have ignorance. Thought is just a wave of the mind. Yeah. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes.
So Vastu Nishtha means Vastu Avachinna Chaitanya Nishtha. And just to make it little more technical. Otherwise simple to chal jayega. That rope ignorance removes the rope ignorance. That's all. Rope ignorance removes the ignorance regarding the rope. Or ignorance related to the rope. थोड़ा निष्ठा का कुछ ज्यादा क्लैरिफिकेशन related to. निष्ठा means related. उसमें जो समझना हो समझना. Whatever you want to understand. Alright. But it will be later on clarified here in this Vichara Sagara itself. Okay. Up to this we have seen. Now, Brahma. Now he is talking about the Adhyasa. What is Adhyasa? Because he has been using the word Adhyasta, Karya Adhyasa, Nivartaka. So now he explains what is Adhyasa. he covers a lot of points of Adhyasa Bhashyam here. He says, Brahma, Jnana, Vishayi, Bhuta, Mithya Vastu, Tat Vishayaka Bhranti Jnanam Cha Adhyasaha iti Uchyate. He says, Mithya Vastu, unreal thing. Generally they translate false thing also, but false thing may give false ideas. Means you may think only some artificial thing which is not like the illusion, etc. Illusion alone it will convey. So we don't want to restrict to that. So we want to say finally ahankara, etc. That is not like illusion the way the what is called silver or the rope snake is. So we want to convey a little more meaning by the word mithya, therefore we don't use the word false. Otherwise false is mithya only. But mithya covers something more which is not known by us as false. Like our body, we don't call false body. So if you use the word only false, then you will think only of the rope snake and silver, shell silver, etc. or some illusion. And therefore, we generally translate mithya as unreal. Unreal thing. So, unreal thing, mithya vastu, which is vishayi bhuta, which is the content, which is in the form of content or the object of what? Brahmadhanam. Brahmadhanam is the knowledge in the form of delusion, delusive knowledge. Brahma itself is enough, but Brahmadhanam is said. So Brahmadhanam is delusive knowledge. So unreal thing which is in the form of the content of the knowledge in the form of delusion or delusive knowledge, adhyasa iti uchyate, is called adhyasa. First we have to connect with adhyasa iti uchyate. So unreal thing, so if we go by popular example, rope snake, which is unreal thing, which is the object of or the content of. Here content means what? That what we call by object is content. The content of jnanam is the object.
Yes.
The content of pot knowledge is what? Pot. In that sense, content. Okay. So unreal thing which is in the form of object. So here let us see the Rajju Sarpa. Mithya Vastu, Rajju Sarpa, which is in the form of the object of the knowledge which is delusion. Sarpadhanam is adhyasaha. So Rajju Sarpa can be called adhyasa. Alright. So not only that is adhyasa, tad vishayaka bhranti jnanam, and delusive knowledge or erroneous knowledge regarding that object. Tad refers to mithya vastu. Erroneous knowledge or delusive knowledge regarding that object. Here example what? Rajju Sarpa. So Rajju Sarpa Vishayaka Bhranti Jnanam Cha and Adhyasaha iti uchyate is called Adhyasa. So two things are called Adhyasa. Rajju Sarpa, rope snake is called Adhyasa, and the knowledge of the rope snake is also called Adhyasa. So the idea of rope snake which you think happening in your mind, that is Adhyasa, and the rope snake which you are seeing outside, that also is Adhyasa. Two Adhyasa. Generally we say that only it is a Bhranti, Rajju Sarpa is only a Bhranti. So we generally reduce it to only Jnanam. But technically there are two. where he is going to talk about Arthadhyasa and Dhanadhyasa. So, Mithya Vastu like rope snake and Tadvishayaka Bhranti Jnanam, the invalid or delusive knowledge regarding the unreal thing, both of them are called Adhyasa. Iti Uchyate. Alright, so regarding this, there is a footnote we will read so that we don't have to do it afterwards. Okay. So first he talks about Adhyasa. Footnote. Adhyasaha nama atasmin tadbuddhihi. Adhyasa means, nama means atasmin tadbuddhihi. Idea, tadbuddhi means idea of that. That refers to something. Idea of something where atasmin, with regard to something else, or with regard to non-that. Exit translation will be what? Idea of that with regard to non-that. Means what? Idea or the notion or the perception of something with regard to something else. Something else in which what you are perceiving is not there.
It's a mistake.
Yeah, the adhyasa is what we generally call mistake. So what is there? For example, atasmin, he himself explains, atasmin is equal to kalatraye api sarpa bhavavati rajvadau. Atasmin is the seventh case of atat means atasmin means in non that. So he is translating as abhava. So he said kalatraye api sarpa bhavavati rajvadau. With regard to or on the rope, etc., which is sarpa bhavavati saptami, which is endowed with the absence of snake. On the rope, which is endowed with the absence of snake, and when there is absence, kalatraye api, in all three periods of time. Api is for emphasis. On the rope, or with reference to the rope, which is endowed with the absence of the snake in all three periods of time. On that rope, etc., tad buddhihi. Sorry, on the rope which is on the rope which is endowed with the absence of snake in all three periods of time. And yes, what I said is correct. On that rope, tad buddhihi. Tad buddhihi means what? Pratibhasika sarpadi buddhihi. Buddhihi means here idea, notion, perception. The idea, notion or perception of pratibhasika sarpadi, snake, etc., which are apparent. Pratibhasika, the translated is apparent or subjective. Subjectively real is the pratibhasika. The word pratibhasika is from pratibhasat agataha pratibhasika. That which is obtaining only because of appearance is called pratibhasika. So pratibhasika is derived from the word pratibhasa. Pratibhasa means appearance. So pratibhasika means that which is obtaining only because of appearance or from appearance. Another way of understanding this pratibhasika word is pratibhasadhina sattvavan is called pratibhasika. So one which is endowed with the existence dependent upon only appearance. So any object like Rajju Sarpa is pratibhasika. Why? Because it is endowed with the existence which is dependent upon what? Only appearance. How long the existence of the snake is experienced by us? As long as it is appearing. So pratibhasadhina sattvavat is called pratibhasika. Is it clear?
Yes.
Pratibhasa adhina sattvavan or what is pratibhasika? That which is endowed with the existence based on only appearance. That is called pratibhasika. Or pratibhasa kala matra sattvavan. That which is endowed with the existence which is obtaining during the period of appearance. Pratibhasa kala matra sattvavan. Endowed with the existence which is obtaining only during the time of appearance. All these are various ways of saying the same thing. Pratibhasika. So Rajju Sarpa etc. are called Pratibhasika. Alright. So Tad Buddhihi means the idea of the snake etc. which are Pratibhasika, which are apparent. So what is Adhyasa? Adhyasa is the idea of that. Idea of that means idea of snake etc. which are apparent. The idea of apparent snake etc. on the rope, Rajvado, or with regard to the rope which is endowed with the absence of snake. So seeing the snake on the rope which does not have the snake. Seeing the snake on the rope which does not have snake at any time. That is called Adhyasa. So Buddhi means perception, seeing, cognizing, or having the idea. All this meaning is a Buddhi. So seeing, thinking, cognizing is Buddhi. In simple words, seeing something where it is not there. Seeing something where it is not there. Seeing the snake where on the rope where it is not there. Seeing the snake on the rope where snake is not there. That is why we call the Sukhadhyasaha, Visheshu Sukhadhyasa. Why? Seeing Sukha in the objects is Adhyasa. Why? Because we are seeing Sukha where it is not there. That is why it is Adhyasa, Shobhanadhyasa. Okay. Here one thing to be noted is that he is focusing mainly on Bhrantik Dhanam, Dhanadhyasa. In this definition, Adhyaso Nama Atasmin Tad Buddhihi, mainly focusing on Dhanadhyasa. Okay. Now further, Tadrisha Sarpadi Tad Dhanam Cha Adhyasaha iti uchyate. Such snake etc. Such snake means what? Pratibhasika Sarpadi. Such apparent snake etc. and Taddanam cha. Taddanam cha means what? The knowledge of that Pratibhasika Sarpa, apparent snake. So apparent snake etc. and its knowledge, both of them, Adhyasaha iti uchyate, is called Adhyasa. Even though in the Ataspin Tad Buddhihi, directly there is Tad Jnanam alone is presented as Adhyasa. But if we want to make this definition Ataspin Tad Buddhi, then Buddhi we have to make it as a Buddhyate iti Buddhi. So Atasmin Tad Buddhi Bodhyam is also Adhyasa. So seeing something which is something which is seen where it is not there. Something which is seen where it is not there. That also is Atasmin Tad Buddhi. Alright. That is just to make it a little more tight. But otherwise, we go with the flow. Like Tadrisha Sarpadi and Tadnanam cha Adhyasa iti uchyate. So, apparent snake, which is seen where it is not there, is Adhyasa, and Taddanam, Sarpadik Dhanam, Pratibhasika Sarpadik Dhanam, both of them are called Adhyasa. Is it clear?
Yes.
Next. Ayancha Adhyasaha Dvividaha. And this Adhyasa is of two types. What are they? Arthadhyasaha, Jnanadhyasaha cha. Arthadhyasaha means what? It is not Arthasya Adhyasa. Arthaha cha so Adhyasa. So we call it substance error, a substance superimposition, thing superimposition is called Arthadhyasa. Or superimposed thing, to be precise. Superimposed thing is called Arthadhyasa. So Adhyasa here has got the meaning Adhyasta. Adhyasyate iti Adhyasa. The word Adhyasa is explained in two ways. One is that which is superimposed and the superimposition. Both are called Adhyasa. Adhyasyate iti Adhyasa. The superimposed is called Adhyasa. And Adhyasanam Adhyasa. Superimposition is called Adhyasa. So here, Arthadhyasaha we take Karmani Vyutpatti. Arthaha cha asau Adhyasaha Arthadhyasaha. And Adhyasa has got the meaning what? Adhyasyate iti Adhyasa. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then only the Samasa Vigraha will be proper. Arthaha cha asau Adhyasaha Arthadhyasaha. And Adhyasa means superimposed. So Arthadhyasaha means superimposed object. Adhyasa means superimposed. Artha means the object. So superimposed object. Arthadhyasaha. And Dhanadhyasaha means Dhanam cha tadadhyasam cha. So superimposed knowledge. Superimposed knowledge. Alright. Now he himself explains these two words. All these are given in Adhyasa Bhashyam. Arthadhyasa, not in the Moolam. Bhashyam itself is not given in Tika. Now Arthadhyasa is what? Bhranti, Jnana, Vishayi, Bhuta, Mithya, Sarpadihi, Arthadhyasa. So Arthadhyasa means superimposed object, means Sarpadi, Mithya Sarpadi, unreal snake, etc., which are Vishayi Bhuta, which are the content of Bhrantik Dhanam, the delusive knowledge. So unreal snake, etc., which are the object of the deluded knowledge, is called Arthadhyasa. Some author calls it substance error. Substance error. Okay. Then Tadrisha Mithyartha Jnanam, the knowledge of such unreal object, is called Dhanadhyasa. The knowledge of such unreal object is called Dhanadhyasa. Alright. Dhanadhyasa means the superimposition in the form of knowledge. Superimposition of knowledge we did not say. Superimposition in the form of knowledge. Alright. So there Adhyasa has got the meaning Adhyasanam Adhyasa. So superimposition in the form of knowledge is dhanadhyasaha. Alright. And what is that? Tadrisha mithyartha dhanam, the knowledge of such unreal objects. Alright. Now, as if this is not enough, we further divide, which was not given in Adhyas Bhasham. Idanche dhanam parokshatva dharma bhedat vividham. Idanche dhanam. This knowledge means what? Mithyarthak dhanam, dhanadhyasa. This is a classification of dhanadhyasa. Idanche dhanam. And this knowledge means this false, wrong knowledge or invalid knowledge is dvividham, is of two types. Based on what? Parokshatva, aparokshatva, dharma bheda. By the difference of or the division of the quality of parokshatva, remoteness, indirectness, aparokshatva, directness. So based on the division or the difference of the quality of that indirectness and directness, this invalid knowledge is of two types. So how it will be? We can say paroksha mithya jnanam or paroksha jnanadhyasaha and aparoksha jnanadhyasaha. And tacha. Tacha means that dvividam mithya jnanam. This twofold mithya jnanam is vishayadhinam, is dependent upon the object. If the object is paroksha, then the mithya jnanam of that object is paroksha. Then that mithya jnanam will be called paroksha mithya jnanam. If the object is aparoksha, here aparoksha includes pratyaksha, then that knowledge will be called aparoksha mithya jnanam. For example, you inferred the person based on the chappal. And really that person is not there. He has changed the chappal. So you thought his old chappal he kept out and new chappal he wore, it went out. Seeing the chappal outside, you imagine what he is inside. So that is a mithya jnana. But mithya jnanam of what? The person who is not in front of you. Therefore, that knowledge of the inferred person, which is invalid knowledge, will be called what? Paroksha mithya jnana. Jocularly, we can say that seeing that frowning face of the person, we infer what? This person is unhappy with me. So, unhappiness of the person inferred by us, or having some resentment. This inferred resentment, we got the knowledge of inferred resentment. And that knowledge can be false. He was trying to sneeze only and we inferred that. So it will be what? Paroksha mithya jnana. But here, you are seeing the snake here in front of you. Then it is called aparoksha mithya jnana. You are seeing the Shuktika Rajat. That is what? Aparoksha mithya jnana. And this aparoksha mithya jnanam is generally called illusion. Aparoksha mithya jnanam is generally called illusion. By people generally, that is how they know. Even though generally we don't use the word illusion, but they can be called illusion. Like Rajju Sarpa Jnanam is illusion. This Shuktika Rajat Jnanam is illusion. Can be called illusion. And by the way, this illusion is generally three types. That one is this, what is called auditory, and that visual, and that tactile. With reference to three things we get Brahman. Alright. Anyway, that is not the main topic. Already you have classification. Now next. Tacha Vishayadhinam means what? The division, twofold Mithya Jnanam, Paroksha and Aparoksha Mithya Jnanam is Vishayadhinam. Is based on the object. Chacha Dvividam means that twofoldness is based on the object, the status of the object. Now one incidental note he makes which is useful, very useful. Jnanadhyasaha eva mithyagdanam bhrantihi iti cha uchyate. So people may get a little bit frightened. Oh Swamiji, this is something new you are telling, Jnanadhyasaha. So he said, don't worry, Jnanadhyasa eva, this superimposition in the form of knowledge alone is uchyate, is called what? Mithyagdanam, invalid knowledge. We don't call it unreal knowledge, okay? Generally people go word to word. Mithya means unreal, dana means knowledge, unreal knowledge. We don't call it unreal knowledge. With reference to knowledge, we don't use the word unreal knowledge. Invalid knowledge. For the object, we don't say invalid object. वो भी इतना बोले स्वामी जी आपने बता दिया ना मिथ्या मीन्स इनवैलिड सो बट ऑब्जेक्ट इज एक बार कहना पड़ता है सो मिथ्या ज्ञानम भ्रांति ही delusion इति च in this manner उच्यते ज्ञानाध्यासा alone, the superimposition in the form of knowledge alone is called mithya jnanam, invalid knowledge, and bhranti. Bhranti means delusion. Alright, so since we have talked about adhyasa so much, so a little bit more. Arthadhyasaha api swarupadhyasa samsargadhyasa bhedena dvividaha. Somebody says, Swamiji, dhanadhyasa division you gave, arthadhyasa you did not give. Bole lelo, arthadhyasa, the superimposition in the form of object, or sorry, superimposed object. Arthadhyasa means superimposed objects. Also is vividaha, is of two types. What are they? Swarupadhyasa and samsargadhyasa. So, Swarupadhyasa means the substance superimposition. And samsargadhyasa means the association superimposition. Association itself is the artha, samsargadhyasa. So samsargadhyasa bhedena dvividaha. So one is the superimposed entity is called arthadhyasa. So here when swarupa, the very essence of the thing is superimposed, then it is called swarupadhyasa. And only the samsarga, the association is superimposed, then it is samsargadhyasa. He himself makes it clear. Ajnana tatkaryadinam chetane atmani swarupadhyasa. On the self which is conscious, on that self, adhyasa, the superimposition of ignorance and its product is swarupadhyasa. The superimposition of the very substance, very essential nature is called swarupadhyasa. Means Ajnanam and its product are not there at all. So they as entity, they are superimposed. That is called swarupadhyasa. So entity wise superimposition is swarupadhyasa. The entity itself is superimposed. Whereas Satchidananda Rupasya Atmanaha Ajnana tatkaryadau samsargadhyasa matram. Whereas Atma, which is Satchidananda Rupa, or Atma, which is of the nature of Satchidananda, of that self, Adhyasa, superimposition on what? Ignorance and its product is mere samsargadhyasaha, the superimposition of the association. Means what? When you say ignorance is, that existence does not belong to Adhanam, but you are attributing existence to Adhanam. So there is superimposition of association of existence to Adhanam. That is samsargadhyasa. Existence itself is not superimposed. The existence is there, unlike the Adhana Tatkaryadi. So existence itself is not superimposed. The association of existence is superimposed upon Adhanam. Not only Adhanam, its product, body. When you say body doesn't have existence. So existence is superimposed. Body is evident. When you say body is evident, being evident does not belong to the body. That belongs to Atma. So that being evident, consciousness is superimposed upon the body. Consciousness is superimposed, we say, but really this association of consciousness is superimposed upon the body. So that is called what? Samsargadhyasa. So anatma is simple words. Anatma has superimposition upon Atma. What type of superimposition? Swarupadhyasa. And superimposition of Atma on Anatma, that is Samsargadhyasa. But here, one more thing we add. Superimposition of Anatma on Atma is not only Swarupadhyasa, is Samsargadhyasa as well. So superimposition of Anatma on Atma is of two types. One is Swarupadhyasa and Samsargadhyasa. And superimposition of Atma on Anatma is only Samsargadhyasa. More we'll see in the next class.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnad Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.